So one time I had the opportunity to take students to Washington, D.C., and when we went to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, everything was covered in fog, and the only thing that you could see was just the monument. And it was kind of looming in the background, and what was really wonderful to see is that this analogy kind of plays out for students. They kind of have an idea of who Martin Luther King Jr. is and his fight, but as they get to study him further, it comes more and more clear, and you get to see not only what he did, but also what other people who around him were seeking for justice were doing, and then how students can then move forward and be able to seek justice in their own lives.
Dr. King delivered a sermon to the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in November of 1957, in which he discussed loving your enemies. He said, "You will discover that at the very root of love is the power of redemption." I believe that this is the core of our Christian faith and a center of what we do at Southwest. Southwest honors the legacy of Dr. King, and that legacy is one of love. Dr. King had every reason to hate those who opposed him, but he did not do that. Rather, he chose to overcome hate with love. His message is a clarion call to all believers to live out the love of Christ daily.
One of our institutional goals is that our students would become seekers of justice as part of the kingdom life of Jesus Christ. And I think the exemplar of Martin Luther King Jr. and his work is the perfect example of that from modern American history for our students to study. When he wrote that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, well, that's an idea that is just so profoundly rooted in the Bible's understanding of justice, that we are placed here in creation, in community, in relationship with one another, and that we are called to have a special eye for the lowly. And the Bible talks about the widow and the foreigner and the orphan and the oppressed. And so when the playing field is not level, which it won't be here in creation, that means that sometimes we are a balm in the world, and sometimes we are advocates, and sometimes we agitate. And the work of Dr. King is a wonderful example of all of that.